Hi, my name is Bill Adams, and recently, about a year ago, I've created this game for Kentucky Fried Pixels. It's called Fragile Panic. And basically, as I was making this, I was recording everything I did in Construct 2. So I figured this time around, I figured I would actually release these videos to the public to show what exactly I went through in creating this game. Um, Basically, you learn about uh, everything that's hopefully I can give you the thought process of how I created the game and also look at all those little tiny incongruities of Construct 2 um, in order to not make the same mistakes I do or come up with some of your own ideas as well. Um, the games actually can be run on Construct 2 or Construct 3 from what I hear. And this is a paid version of Construct 2. It is the personal version, not the business version. Um, but because of that, it'll very likely run over the 50 event limit. So if you're getting the free version, you may not be able to reproduce it completely along down the road, but maybe later on, maybe if your scope isn't as grand as mine, you can probably make your own game. You can still make your own games um, with the free version, and hopefully you can still learn from what I've learned um, just by watching these videos. Right now I'm creating the first asset. It is a box, an open box that all the plates will be stored in. The basic game, if you looked at if you played my game or if you've only looked at the previews, is basically the idea is basically you're this assembly line worker whose last assembly line, the last assembly line worker has completely got disgruntled and shuffled all the plates around before he left. So basically, your job is basically to resort all these plates before they get on the delivery truck. Anyways, basically, I created the assets. Basically, all the assets are hand drawn, or actually, they're mouse drawn. Actually, I do have a tablet, but I haven't gotten used to it yet. So basically, all the assets right now, I consider them placeholder assets for the most part. Although everyone I've talked to said no, don't leave them in there. They leave them sort of as kind of a charm to it. But I don't know. I'm still kind of wondering about it. I will eventually change the color of these. But for now, they're basically what you see right now is right now in the current version of it. Right now, I'm creating a different image points in for the object. Construct 2, basically, you create the sprite and then you have different image points, which are offsets from the origin that you can use to eventually in your event logic. Unfortunately, you can only see one image point at a time. So what I've been doing is actually drew on the box itself to get an idea of where the points will be at. And as you see, I made adjustments. Unfortunately, I lost the color there, so I had to do the eyedropper in order to get the point again. Too bad there isn't a way you can save the colors on the color picker. That would have been a little bit easier to do. Anyways, now I'm going to each point and putting it on there. The 7th image point is for the player character that is on top of it. And one of the things that's I've discovered recently is that you can actually put the points outside the sprite itself, which is very useful in later logic. Also, I'm also changing the collision box, although later on I realized I don't really need to use a collision box. But at the time I didn't, so I just did it anyways. Now that I have the box, I just resized it to the size that I believe it's going to be and place it in the position where I wanted it to start. And then from there, I started making a new sprite, and these are start doing the plates, or dishes as I would call them. I think this is dish A. Well, this is dish right now. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have used the paint fill tool, but right now I just simply the thing about the paint fill tool is if it's anti-aliased, it still doesn't really do it completely. You still have to use the drawing thing to get the little tiny thing in the middle. So I just basically just quickly just not bothered with it, although I probably will later on, who knows. And also I probably should have used different colors as I did later on, but right now I wanted to, I think at the time I thought that if I kept the all the colors one color, I could at least determine by shape at the very beginning, and that would help me out determining you know, that the shapes are completely if they're recognizable just by shape rather than by color. Yeah, I try to do a regular saucer for the most part. Although I probably should have used references at the very beginning, because, you know, I just basically did what I thought was a saucer would look like. But even then, I completely abandoned that and just basically did basic shapes that kind of look like saucers. I mean, I've seen saucers in different shapes before, but, you know, nothing really practical. The rest of this video is basically making 2 more plates. I've only created 3 at the moment because I was basically keeping myself under a 10-minute stretch at the time. Basically, it has something to do with the Pomodoro technique, and also whether or not YouTube would allow me to upload videos that are 10 minutes longer than normal. So basically, I'm just going to let this go out, and I'll see you next time.